I think if you're interested as a member of the public in this time of COVID, I think as Kina and Shark and others have been saying, the easiest thing you can do is to really put pressure on your adons and your MPs. As you know, this is the only way in which we can get any reversal of the intention of the state government. Because as far as the law was concerned, as Dorothy outlined in the beginning, under the Slango enactment, they actually had a public inquiry, which, according to the appeal letter, as you can see, was rather an insufficient and inadequate process, which was, for a lot of us who took part in that inquiry, it did not seem as a genuine inquiry, actually. So, public participation is very key. The law gives you the right. So, even though people were not given a chance to take part widely, I think this is the moment your state government is responsible for this. So I'm in Penang, so I'm saying your state government. Although Sahabat Alam Malaysia does work all over the country, but the most important contribution that any member of the public can make is to put pressure on all the MPs and the adons, because this is your legal right as a concerned citizen. And the concern that was asked about what are you fed up with in terms of the narrative. I think the narrative that development must take place, economic interests should prevail over all others. I think we can't have this anymore. I think the pandemic has already shown that what can happen when you have something like a climate emergency, when nature hits back. So why do we want to wait until another crisis happens? So world over, people are talking about the environment being put ahead. That actually should be integrated together, as we all say. And why do you have to sacrifice a very important, what do you call it, paya gambut? It's a fantastic piece of resource, and you can actually seek international money to protect these forests. So if you come and tell us we don't have enough resources, therefore we have to go and do this kind of development, we don't agree, we don't buy that anymore. Because there are international resources available. If you want to know, we can go into a whole load of guide for that. But and Malaysia has signed and ratified the Paris Agreement. We have an obligation to reduce emissions, not increase emissions. We have an obligation under the Convention on Biological Diversity, where we have said that we will protect biodiversity. So you have, and then a few final points I'd like to make is that the structure plan and the local plan, the Selangor structure plan, the local plan for that area, all say that this is an environmentally sensitive area, class 1. It's not some other class. So this is a very important ecosystem. So why do you sacrifice this? There's absolutely no justification. And so the other point is that we have the MBI Incorporated, Malaysia Menteri Besar Incorporated for mixed development. We're very concerned over the conflict of interest. One is at the Menteri Besar as in Menteri Besar Incorporated, and the other Menteri Besar is supposed to safeguard the interest of the Selangor public and also the larger Malaysian public. Why are we concerned as larger Malaysians? Because this is about forests and this is about importance of carbon dioxide and climate change and all that. So we are sick and tired of the narrative that the economy is more important and environment can come separate. That time is over. That is passé and it's old school. It's time they change.
Diversity of different actors, civil society actors that came together, recognizing one, the rights of the indigenous community, as well as the environmental impact. But ours was also the fact that currently in Malaysia, our politicians, our elected representatives don't seem to be acting in the best interest of the people, right? And I think colleagues like Mina and all has pointed up, the development design that for a very long time Malaysia has been using has been detrimental, and this needs to have a massive rethink. We need transformational kind of policies in place, and we should not only be seeing our politicians, whether at the state level or federal level during elections, they should actually be listening to us on a daily basis. It's called a functioning democracy only when that happens. they should not only visit us during election period. And development policies really need to be transformed in this country. So again, very quickly, this is actually a call out to all Malaysians, regardless of whether you're residents of Selangor or not, to please hold elected representatives responsible. Please help this campaign. A lot of suggestions were given, from the simplest, where you just have to go on the Greenpeace website, click on a letter that goes out, or you can also take individual initiatives of writing to people who are of concern, publicize this, because as was pointed out by Damien, de-gazettement is not an option. As we have to protect the forest, and we have to protect the people whose livelihoods is dependent on the forest. So with that, I will hand it over to Suresh. Oh, sorry, very quickly. There was very few media present here today, and I find that very puzzling and very disappointing. And ironically, the 2nd of November is actually the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. And many of us have actually stood up for the rights of journalists and the media. So I'm hoping that even if you are not present today for this press conference, you do take up this issue and stand with civil society actors that have taken up this issue.